Yeah, so this is my man Bagsy. Welcome to Point Blank, my man. This is your host,
Thanks.
Panama Crypto.
Good to be back, buddy.
Yeah, dude. What
It's
have
been a
you
long
been up
time.
to lately?
Uh, Dabbling in shit coins, NFTs,
And shit posting?
a lot of shit posting. That's how I get my numbers up. And yeah, just trying to enjoy the summer. The last year, it's been I feel like it's taken off 5 years of my lifespan. So it's good to kind of kick back, yeah, relax a bit.
So do you sell the absolute top?
Um, yes and no. I didn't sell my Bitcoin or Ethereum at the top, but I pretty much reduced my exposure to a lot of altcoins and other positions I was in. So all in all, I had a gut feeling about the altcoins, but I definitely didn't think we'd see Bitcoin pull back 55% or whatever it was, and everything else with it. So I survived. It wasn't the worst. I didn't capitulate at the bottom, so we're still in it. And it's kind of, we have this second breath of fresh air with NFTs and all that fun stuff. So yeah, no, still in it, man. What about you? Did you capitulate?
Um, I took profits. Like I've been taking profits along the way. It's
Mm-hmm.
something I've been doing religiously since early 18. So
Mm-hmm.
when
Well,
the hard crash happened, well, not the crash, the dip to
to
something
Hades.
29, 27. I was already vastly in profit. So
Mm-hmm.
my majority of network was outside of crypto. So the remaining
Mm-hmm.
part of that was in crypto was more or less hit, but I was on
Mm-hmm.
stable coin, so not too shabby.
Good stuff.
The hard question is it bottom end?
$1 million question. I don't know. I think we're going to find out very soon. We're at a level where I think the decision is going to come in, and the reason why I say I don't know is, well, firstly, I don't think anybody knows except for the people who make the market, but also we're seeing um, a lot of governments trying to catch up to crypto and trying to regulate it, trying to tax it. They want money from it, and how they're going about it, I think, is you know rarely the right way. So the U.S. could definitely put back crypto for a bit. Now, how much of the U.S. market is responsible? How important is the U.S. market? I don't know. But I think if governments are willing to play ball, there's a higher likelihood that we keep going. But the cool thing is that despite yesterday's news, where correct me if I'm wrong, but the call it the legislations that they're trying to pass in the U.S. That make every crypto a broker, every miner a broker, every um, dabbler a broker. If that passes, it's going to set back the U.S. 10 years. But price didn't actually pull back, and I think it was negative news as far as I'm concerned. So I think there's a higher likelihood of up and down. But we see a pullback, we go we go into the 15, 20Ks. Don't knock on my door. I'm just a Twitter guy.
Yeah, I was positively surprised to see so many supporters on both ends
Mm-hmm.
in the Senate. Like I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
gonna be way worse than it was.
Mm-hmm. In what sense? Just like how crypto would have no supporters at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well,
yeah, go ahead.
I think it's guys like Niraj from Coin Center, their whole team. Um, they're in part responsible for having U.S. citizens call in to their senators to complain and bitch. So shout out to Niraj. Um, but some of the senators are past 80 years old. Like, how the fuck are they supposed to understand Bitcoin? Excuse my language. Um, so you have a bunch of old people making decisions, and whoever is an American listening to this, you're going to have a fun time in the next year or two. So make sure you do your duty and call in whenever they're trying to pass shitty legislatures with, last minute add-ons and crooked shit. I fucking hate government. I don't know if you could cut that out, but
Sure.
No, it's fine.
Do you think this is gonna go the whole way through?
I don't know. I really don't know. I just know that the U.S. citizens have to fight shit, and you have to call into your senators, and because if you don't, the whole narrative of clean energy and shit, that's going to get pushed back a while, and I think it's just going to stifle innovation. A lot of people are going to leave the U.S. to go to other countries where it's more flexible and where crypto is actually wanted, and where you don't have to do 1,000 steps to get to the same place. So I wish I knew. I'm in Canada, so it doesn't directly affect me, but it does at the same time. So I'm just sitting on the sidelines and hoping that things go smoothly.
You tether up in stable coins?
I'm sorry?
Are you in stable coins right now?
I'm about 50% exposed to stable coins. It's decreasing because the positions I have are growing. But yeah, I'm about probably 45% exposed to stable coins. And even with stable coins, I'm like, fuck, what? Like, I'm in USDC. I wasn't tethered, and I'm like, maybe I should swap to USDC because tether this, tether that. But now I'm sitting there, and I'm like, well, fuck, they could freeze any of my stable coins. Even DAI, the MakerDAO stablecoin, is consistent of USDC. So I don't know. I'm uncomfortable. I uncomfortably hold stablecoin for the reason that they could technically just freeze anybody's wallet. They could freeze all transactions, and
you should be fine unless you're a hacker. Unless you're the 600 million hacker.
Yeah, so earlier today, actually, Tether froze 30 million from the Polygon hacker. I think he got away with, I don't know if he got away with it, but I think he stole over 600 million, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That's a fucking payday right there, baby.
Yeah, what is 33 million out of 600?
Yeah, not exactly. But back to stable coins, like I'm uncomfortably sitting in them in part. But I'm not a hacker, but at the same time, I wouldn't want. And the thing is, would they give people a grace period? Let's say, USDC is owned by Circle, Coinbase. They want to become a bank. I think they announced that yesterday. They want to become a bank. And in my head, I'm like, well, what happens if they force KYC on every stablecoin holder? Like, how would they go about it? Would they give a grace period of a week for people to, cash out into another stablecoin, or would they simply freeze the blockchain and force KYC through a portal on their website? So these are the things that go through my head right now, and I don't know. Like I get KYC, but it's just not for me. I don't know. Had my shit sold too many times on the internet
for someone that is worried about these sort of things, that they get their addresses frozen. Mm-hmm. Where should they put their stable coins in? USDT? Probably not. USDC is almost the same thing as USDT. So DAI, you just said that it's almost the same as USDT and USDC. What would be the best option for someone that's trying to avoid this sort of problem?
Bitcoin. I don't have an answer yet. It could be one of a Terra stable coin or one of these, but I haven't used them, so don't take me at my word. I would think in my brain the most decentralized stable coin that doesn't lose its peg would make the most sense. But I haven't done enough research to give you a solid answer on that. But maybe it's like one of those Haven stable coins. I think it's like XUSD, or I don't think it's XUSD, but I think you know what I'm talking about. Haven, the privacy coin or whatever. They have a stable coin there too, but I don't know. For now, I won't switch out of it, but it could be something to look at in the future.
I was in this coin. What was it called? It was a decentralized stable coin. It was doing pretty well until it nuked to like 4 cents. So I lost like more than 95% of my $4,000.
Mm-hmm. Which one was
So
that?
I'm trying to remember right now. Let me look at CoinGecko to see if I can find it.
And that's the thing, man. A lot of this shit's super experimental. So like you're taking a risk, and it's a risk any way you look. So you really have to consider your own situation and figure out what's best.
It was one of these coins that had a dynamic supply,
Mm-hmm.
but
Oh, okay.
at the end of the day, it's worthless now.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry to hear that.
It was empty set dollar.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Empty set. I didn't trade it, but I was in a few groups with friends, and I remember they were going crazy.
Yeah. I was still adding
Rip.
at 60 cents.
Rip.
Yeah, and it fucking nuked. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But then you have others, others that'll get back to par. So
yeah, it's probably going to back to par at some point, but still.
You think so? I mean,
Like,
I don't know how the math works on that one, but
dynamic supply, bro.
Dynamic, bro. Fucking dynamic liquidation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you win some, you lose some.
Exactly.
Are you looking at any on-chain data that is swaying your position into bull or bear?
Oof. No, I'm not smart enough to find an edge with on-chain data. I use Nansen, for example, to find shitcoins, but I don't use, Glassnode amount of wallet whales, coin movements. Like, to me, I think Sam Bankman-Fried from FTX did an interview. I think it was with CryptoCred, one of these guys, and I think he mentioned that there are two situations where you can. I could be wrong. 2 to 3 situations where you can find an edge, and actually, it's actionable. I don't remember if he said what those things were, but to you guys listening, you could probably find it out there. But yeah, no. Long story short, I think on-chain metrics are pretty useless.
Yeah, Sam was here also.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. Was this recently?
Yeah, it was beginning of this year.
Nice. Yeah, it was a few months ago.
If I recall correctly, or late last year. But yeah, it was here. Yeah, I asked because like I was looking at the chart like on late May, and I was like, this shit is going to 17K, man. This is gonna look so bad. We are gonna be left with nothing.
What is it you looked at?
TA wise, like I was looking at probably it was going to drop way lower than it had to 27 something. And then I was looking at the on-chain data and I was like, dude, the whales are fucking accumulating. The charts look like shit. And I didn't actually buy anything until it bounced from 30K. So yeah, I was wondering if you were looking at some alpha into the on-chain data from Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other coin that could give you some edge over the TA that you usually do.
With Bitcoin, I like my thing again. I trade mostly altcoins and stuff, so I don't. Apart from just accumulating Bitcoin, I don't really trade it that much.
You're not gonna make it, bro.
I know I'm never gonna make it. But no, the jokes aside, I think the upside is much greater with altcoins.
Yeah, definitely. Like
you can
capture
a move much quicker. And then again, other side of it is, you could lose money much quicker, especially if you're playing with leverage. And when Bitcoin dunked from 64K to 30, That was over a 55% move. People using 2x leverage fucking got liquidated, man. And especially if you're adding to your position on the way down. So it's a vicious game.
I personally haven't touched any leverage in this year, at least. Like, it's too fucking risky at this point.
I don't know. Like, if you have a stop loss, I mean,
are you doing leverage right now?
Yeah, I usually always trade with leverage just because I don't leave that much on exchanges. So I just use it. But and that's the thing about exchanges too. It's like sometimes your stop loss doesn't hit because the exchange goes down, gets DDoSed or whatever.
You get that on every exchange, like even on FTX. You get them everywhere.
Oh, dude, I had a friend who we're not going to name.
You had a friend, he didn't make it.
he made it, but I don't even know if I could tell the story. But long story short, exchanges go down, and unless you know the exchange owner, be really careful with leverage. Put it that way.
Yeah, you have a big followership. If not, you're fucked.
Yeah, no. That's why it helps to make friends in the space. I think the best way to make money is by making friends.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, trading aside, trading's one thing, and trading's very solitary, and it's a solo sport, and I like playing in teams. So with time, I've kind of grown out of the 12 hours at a computer alone in my room every day, not talking to anyone, just focusing on that. I've transitioned from that. And I think that the real alpha is making smart friends and, helping them out when they need it, vice versa.
No doubt. The key is making a good network in crypto.
Yeah, and the key is not being a piece of shit. The key is, doing what you say you're going to do and not being a cunt. I think if you can manage those things, you'll go very far. Because, the bar is set pretty low in this space. It's pretty damn low. So if you're a good person and you provide any sort of value and you're not there for the quick buck, fuck it. Like, you'll do great. So yeah, those are my 2 cents.
That's a great advice. Point Blank is brought to you by Bing Bong, the crypto exchange where you can trade with up to 150x leverage. What would you advise for people that are not exactly exposed to crypto and they're looking for the biggest upside? You were talking about the alts have possibly more upside than Bitcoin. What would you recommend?
That's a dirty question, my friend.
That's why you're here, man.
I mean,
people want the alpha.
Shit, if you have no exposure and you want to buy an altcoin, probably Ethereum. I think it's definitely passed the Lindy test. I think the upside will probably be smaller on Ethereum than it would be for L2s or things building on Ethereum. If you're buying a $5 million market cap project, the upside is much greater than buying a $6 billion market cap or whatever Ethereum's at right now. I don't know. I'll just say buy a bit of Bitcoin, buy a bit of Ethereum, and with a small percentage of what you're willing to lose, dabble in shit coins that aren't really listed anywhere, but might have a prominent team, or you think the narrative for that project will be there in a few months and you want to speculate. It's really tough, dude, especially with all these NFT projects coming out. Pretty much everything's doing multiple. So I think I don't know how much longer this window will last. But you could pretty much throw your money at any NFT project coin right now and capture a bit. I think Axie's is at $57 today. But it's not black and white. I would just say buy Ethereum. And
what about Polkadot?
Shit, man, is Polkadot even live yet?
It is.
Dude, it is. Are you sure?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, okay.
I was taking it for like since 3-4 weeks ago.
Okay.
So it looks quite
Uh,
wild.
yeah. Honestly, man, I think I think Solana's done a lot
Yeah,
more work.
Solana is also a good option. Also,
Yeah.
what about Cardano?
An open mind will you'll learn a lot more that way. So whether it's Solana, Polkadot, maximalism doesn't get you far. And I think Solana has done a lot more progress than Polkadot or any other chain has, other than Ethereum, of course. So I bet on Sam, but I don't have any exposure to Solana at the moment, which is the funny thing. Instead of Solana, I just put all my money in FTT and fucking prayed, and so far it's done pretty well. And that's the thing, like, to people listening, things happen over and over again, and FTT is a good example of that. Like, I first spoke to Sam, I think in late 2019 or something like that. Had him on my podcast at the time, and in my head when I was interviewing a bunch of altcoins, and they were very quick to innovate. So in my mind, I'm like, this is the next Binance. This is going to be a top 10 exchange.
Do you got in the IEO?
I did not know. I started getting in. I bought on day one. Then it dunked to like $1.50 or something like that. I kept buying, and eventually it slowly grinded its way out of that. Did you?
Whoever made it into the Binance or FTX ICO, they made it like big time.
And like, but then again, a lot of people, I mean, I don't know what the vesting terms were, but a lot of people just dump that shit, and then they don't keep a position, and the next thing you know, your coin is the top 10 project, and you sold it at a 300 market cap valuation. So they made it, yeah, but a lot of people don't hold. So the thing I was trying to get to was, if you see a project that reminds you of another one that's done extremely well, put some money in it. Cryptocurrency exchanges have always been a good bet, sort of. Of course, you have projects that rug, exchanges that rug, but
and some that suck.
Some that suck. You know, a lot of them suck, and I'm not saying FTT is the best exchange, but I like their team a lot, and they're partnering with a lot of really smart. Yeah, today they partner with Kevin O'Leary, I think. So it's, they're like, look for projects that remind you of former greatness. I guess what I'm trying to say.
So have you dabbled into the NFTs already, or no?
Yeah, I have. I think I bought my first NFT last year.
Damn, you early.
Yeah.
As usual.
Not always early, but early enough, right? But no, thankfully at the time I was advising a project that was into NFTs, so I had to learn a lot about it. But I think to me the most valuable NFT project is probably CryptoPunks.
Do you own any?
And I do, yeah. I flipped some over the last few weeks. One of my friends, he told me to buy the Punk floor. I think it was like 13 ETH or something like that at the time. It was maybe a month or two ago tops. So I just bought some, and I got really fucking lucky with the timing there. But I'm keeping it for now. I think let's say that this is top for NFTs, and the next 2 years are really quiet. I don't think they're going anywhere. We're starting to see actual museums buy and accumulate some projects to have in their museum. So it's only the start, especially since we're going digital. Everything's digital. So I think the OG projects that still have a community that loves them, that still has hype. I think these will probably be the best long term, and it doesn't even have to be CryptoPunks. I mean, right now the floor is 48 Ethereum, which is 130K, 150K. My math is shit right now, so that's really not affordable to most people. So I would say if you're looking to dabble in NFTs, look for first series first series launches from artists and musicians you like, people you think will become huge in the next 20 years, even if they may not be today. That's where your biggest ROI is going to be. It's by buying the first launches from your favorite artists that are still kind of not discovered yet, or that are still, climbing the ranks. I think that's where you should focus.
That absolutely makes sense. But what about the Penguins and the Rocks and the Judge and the OG punks and the copycats of the punks and all these? Do you think
Okay,
those are
what I will
worth
say,
the price?
I think the copycat. I think honestly, like if you're buying copycats of punks, you're a dumbass. A lot of people are not going to like that, but just because Larva Labs is actively trying to take down copycats of their projects, so why would you invest in something that could get taken down as a copycat? Why would you even want to buy a copycat unless it's for the flip? If you're buying a Began or a copy punk, whatever the fuck, if you're buying it for the long term, I think that's a poor strategy. I would just save money and buy the real thing. But what do I think about that? I just think the market's really hot. I think that guys like Gary V, fucking, I don't know, like actually like quote unquote influencers are finding NFTs a really easy thing to push, because who doesn't like art? Who doesn't like an image of something? You're not pushing your paid course. You're not pushing something that has a lot of friction. So I think just NFTs are catching on, and it's just time to take advantage. And today could be the top. Who fucking knows? But I just think that people will throw money at anything right now, and as long as Ethereum goes up, people will keep buying NFTs. And at ETH going up is a product of people buying NFTs. So if projects start going towards stable coins, like you could buy your art with stable coins, you'll see that effect on Ethereum, I think, too. But obviously Ethereum is much more than NFTs. Yeah.
So I haven't bought any NFTs per se. I have tokens, projects
per
projects.
se.
Well, yeah. Well,
you own the derivative.
I own a derivative of fucking NFT, but that doesn't even count. If I were to be buying one, not saying that I will buy one. Well, this last week I was about to do something really stupid to buy like an OG punk. And I was like, either this or I'm gonna buy a e-mountain bike. So I decided like, I'm gonna buy the mountain bike. So
never gonna make it, bro. I'm just kidding.
Definitely. So that's that. So now I'm like, fuck. I need to dabble in, like, get the experience and understand all the NFTs A to Z. So do you have any specific artists you would like to buy an NFT from? Or that's too much alpha to give out right here.
No, I mean, like, in all honesty, you could probably ask guys like Moon Overlord, DC Investor, Keyboard Monkey.
I'm blocked by Moon Overlord.
Oh, well, I guess you won't be asking him.
No, but I'm not gonna ask him.
I would just say, honestly, buy the shit that appeals to you. There's some artists that are, Beeple, these guys.
That's impossible to acquire.
Yeah, highly improbable.
Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. So I would just say buy.
That's above 7 figures easily.
So in that case, I would say buy what appeals to you. Buy what you think looks really cool, and
avoid copycats.
Avoid copycats. And yeah, I don't know about the penguin shit. Like I didn't get any. I didn't get any stuffed penguins or whatever they're called, fluffy penguins. I don't even like penguins, which is why I didn't. So I'm not gonna make it. But
Oh, you're gonna make it for sure.
hopefully. But I would just say, if a project's been around for a few years and there's a solid community, the floor is higher than it was at the start, and you really like the art, yeah, fuck it. And you got money to burn. Like, realize that you can't market dump this shit. You cannot. This isn't a shit coin. Like, if you buy the wrong thing and you're the greater fool, you have no one. So that's one thing about NFTs that's really dangerous. Like, you could be the last person that ever owns it and never get out. So if you're ready for that, if you're ready to be wrong, and you find some art that speaks to you, then yeah, fuck it, ape it. But I'm ready for it to go to zero. Like, all the art I own is just from profits from flipping these NFTs. So I'm like, I already took my initial out. I'm happy. And now I'm just gonna watch it do its thing. You can still trade the tokens like Axie or whatever, Smooth Love Potion, or the shit coin that's attached to it. That's another way to speculate. At least there you'll have liquidity to dump into. But yeah, that's it's madness, and that's what's great about crypto. Is highly unpredictable, and when the market's hot,
Yeah, that's the risk. You cannot dump at any time you want. Let me see at the Google Trends of NFTs to see where it is set at.
Yeah,
let me check out on NFTs.
Another good metric is just like the actual sales. I think it's Dune Analytics or one of these.
It's picking up. It's doing like a round bottom. Yeah. Interesting. We're not at the top.
The top is when you get a president.
The top was on March of mentions on Google Trends. It was on March something. And now it's doing sort of a round bottom.
So, the top is going to be when there's a president of a country that creates an NFT series for sale. That's the top.
Oh, so we have time.
Could get some Biden NFTs.
Yeah. So, bro, you've been doing a couple of projects personally. Can you show them out? And why you have on the pipeline?
Interesting projects that I want to show. Buy my shitcoin.
Your personal projects, not the.
Yeah, no, of course. So I create a website called Unmasked Crypto. So unmaskedcrypto.com. We put up free articles, learnings on how not to get rug pulled, how to what kind of tools to use, and we're growing it with time. We have 5 part-time writers right now. So and these guys wrote for really reputable companies before I took them on, so they know their stuff. So that's probably my proudest creation so far, because I think it's really easy to fuck up if you have the wrong information. Apart from that,
the Twitter on that one is at Unmasked Crypto.
Yeah, Unmasked Crypto, exactly. It's a pink.
And the website is unmaskedcrypto.com. You
got it. Chill it, baby. But yeah, you'll see Pepe and stuff like that. So it's very, very friendly. And yeah, great. So I suggest if you're a noob, check that out. If you've been in the space for a few years, I mean, it might not be as useful to you, but hey, we'll write more articles as we go.
What about Briefly Crypto? When I was in Vegas, I look at that one all the time because I didn't have time to browse over my Twitter or my Telegram. I just go directly to the Briefly Crypto on Telegram and look all the news of the day.
I'm really happy to hear that, dude. I almost forgot about it. Shout out to Dan Clarkey, the creator. But yeah, Briefly Crypto's probably one of I'd say the most useful bots that I've that I've gotten my name on. You can basically just look up whatever news pieces. You can go on the Telegram app on the channel. It will give you a summary of every article that we think is relevant. We pull it from different places, summarize it, add a sentiment rating. So positive, neutral, negative. And at the end of the day, there's
for the blind homies.
Yeah, for the blind homie, there's a 2-minute voice clip every day at 8 p.m.
What? Really? Yeah, that's new to me.
Yeah, no. So if you're actually blind, you can listen to it, and it'll give you a summary of price, the 3 biggest articles, and again, shout out to Dan. It's a really good tool. We also have Briefly Bitcoin, which is the Bitcoin version of it, so Bitcoin only. And yeah, no, I'm really excited to see where the space is going to go in the next year. It's going to be good.
I love to have you here, man. Hope you can come before December this year to see where the price of Bitcoin is at.
Oh, dude, I'd love to. Yeah, what's your prediction?
Fuck Bitcoin. I don't know, 100,000. What about you?
I think that's a fair prediction, my friend. What month are we right now? August. Right? Ugh. It's probably 50K. The same fucking price we're at now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, if it chops until December, at least odds are gonna pump.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Again, like, it's all in part has a lot to do with regulations, and we're actually seeing governments give a shit today. So we'll see. We'll can only speculate and hope.
All right, man. Really happy to have you hosted here. Thanks for listening.
Thanks,
until next time.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Peace. This episode was brought to you by Bing Bong. No matter what the market is doing, Bing Bong has something for all traders. You can trade crypto, forex, commodities, global indexes, and copy trading. Join now at partner.bingbong.com/Panama.